Hey YouTube, welcome to my channel. For y'all who don't know, it's your girl Toya, aka TT, aka Auntie, aka Mama, aka y'all get the point. Anyways, this is an updated video on my favorite body butters that I've been making for the past few months. If you guys didn't know, I created a video a few months ago and the video, it took off. It has like about 8,000 views at this point. But since then, I perfected all of the ingredients. I went from thick solidified butter, look how thick this is, to a more fine fluffy butter like this. So if you want to see how I bake my butter, you see how that melts to my skin and it's not too solidified, and this butter's been made about 2 weeks ago. So if you want to see how I make this butter, when you rub it in, it absorbs quickly into your skin. Look at that, I don't even look greasy. This is the original butter that I used to make. It's thick. Takes a second to rub in. You see that? The difference? Takes a little bit longer to rub in. You can completely see the difference. It looks more oily. So if you guys are interested in seeing how I make my butter, stay tuned. It's me, Toya, from Her Creations. Before we get started, if you're a new subscriber, welcome. If you've been one of my subscribers, thank you so much for your support. This video is going to be an updated, more detailed video on how I make my creamy, luscious body butter. And this is also a Valentine's Day marathon. I will be doing 3 days of Valentine's Days DIYs. So yes, stay tuned, and here we go. I'm going to hop right into the video. Okay, so starting off, I'm going to be using my Pure Vine product mango butter. I did do a tutorial, sorry, not a tutorial, I did a video of my favorite mango butters to purchase from distributors, and this was one of my favorite butters. As you can see, this was I had 2 huge blocks. I'm down to just this left right here, so I will be placing another order. I'm going to be using about 16 ounces of this to make my butter. The type of butter I'm making today is going to be my Lux Rose Quartz. The Rose Quartz stone is considered very powerful. It's a healing stone. It opens up your heart, increases love and friendship and inner peace. And I also chose my favorite, the Vanilla Rose Champagne. It just smells bomb. That's why I chose it. So let's get started. I'm going to cut 16 ounces of this mango butter. Move on to our liquids. So if you guys seen my other video on making butter, I put my I added my carrier oil after I melted my mango butter. So last time in the other video, I melted my mango butter and then I went back and added my carrier oil after I let the mango butter re-solidify. But this time I'm going to add my apricot oil now because it seemed like it makes the butter more fluffier during the mixing process. So that's just something that I recently changed, and it's made a big difference. So I'm gonna put 90% oil, which would be about 14 ounces, into my 16 ounces of mango butter. I went over a little bit, but that's fine. So that is 14.44 ounces of apricot kernel oil. So I'm taking that and I'm pouring it into my my mango butter mix. And so some people may think by adding so much carrier oil that it's gonna be greasy. Well, it will be greasy if you don't know how to balance out the oils. So I will be going in adding arrowroot powder during the mixing process. So to kind of help balance out the oil, I'm gonna add about a teaspoon of arrowroot powder. That'll change the consistency of the body butter. That'll give you more of that luxurious powder, kind of like a powder feel. It feels totally different. When you see it, it'll go on like it's oily, but your skin absorbs it really quickly. So you guys will definitely know the difference if you try adding arrowroot to your body butter mixtures. So now that we have our butter and oils mixed, as you can see, I'm gonna start the double broiler process. I'm gonna take this right here and put it in over a pot of boiling water so we can get all the oils melted together. Oh wait, before we go, I almost forgot my vitamin E oil. About 5 minutes in, the butter is almost completely melted. 15 minutes later, it is all the way melted. Now we're gonna let it cool off for about 20 minutes. Once it's cooled off, pop it in the fridge. About an hour and a half in the fridge. This is what we have as re-solidified. It's been about an hour and a half. It is 2 a.m. Pacific time. I am very exhausted. As you can see, our butter is now re-solidified. Now we're gonna get to the mixing part. So I'm just gonna push my bowl down, lift it up, and you guys can see it is a little bit of liquid inside, but it's a perfect consistency for whipping. So I'm gonna turn my blender on really slowly just to start the mixing. Okay, so we're about 5 minutes in. As you can see, the butter, it doubled in size, in volume. And so it's gonna whip and get a little more fluffier than this. But right now I'm gonna go ahead and add my arrowroot powder. This right here. This was purchased from it was purchased from Nature Gardens Plus. Is what I believe. I am gonna double check it though and put that in the description section. So I'm gonna put a half of teaspoon. Can you guys see? I don't know if you guys can see this. I'm so horrible with getting you guys to see the camera. You might can see that now. I'm gonna add a half a teaspoon of arrowroot powder. This right here is gonna take away some of the greasiness, the greasy feel, should I say, because I did put about 90% carrier oil in here, just so that way you can get a better moisturizer and a better texture when it comes to mango butter or body butters. But the arrowroot is gonna work wonders. It's gonna give you that powdery luxury feel and not as greasy as the normal body butter would be. All right, let's get back to whipping. Okay, we've been going for about 15 minutes. I'm gonna let it go a little bit longer. I'm gonna stop it really fast just so I can scrape the sides. I wanna get all the butter from the sides to make sure that it's whipping really well and it's mixing. Everything's coming together. So I'm just getting the sides. It's almost to the consistency that I like. One of my subscribers had asked me a question about the consistency. So I wanted to address that really fast before I get the mixer going again. So in the winter time, you shouldn't have a problem with it melting if you're going to be shipping this butter because it's cold. So I wouldn't really worry about it melting. To prevent the butter from becoming too solidified after you let it sit, I would recommend doing the 90% of the carrier oils in your butter. If it solidifies too much, most likely you don't have enough of your carrier oils in your butter mixture. If you put enough carrier oils and you let it mix long enough, it will solidify to a certain extent, but not hard. It will not get back hard like the butter is when you first receive it or first start working with it. So it's going to get a little firm, but it won't completely solidify if you add enough oil to your butter when you're making it. Okay, and then the other thing was, I think the next question was how to stop your butter from melting if you were to ship it. So to prevent your butter from melting in the summertime, I add kaolin clay to my butter. Now kaolin clay can be a little bit tricky because kaolin clay can make your butter real hard. You don't want it to be too hard, like too solidified. So you could just add like maybe, depending on how much you're mixing. So if for example, if I was to do the 12 ounces like I did with this batch, I would probably put about a half a teaspoon, if that, because it'll make it too thick. Like, and you don't want it too thick. And I messed up one time because I put too much kaolin clay, because when I first mixed it, it didn't seem like it was getting hard. But once I let it sit, it was way too solidified. So in the summertime, add kaolin clay. That'll help make it a little more firmer, and it'll hold better during shipping. I'm in California, so I know for sure, you know, this California heat will melt. It's like it'll melt your skin off your body. It's so hot in California in the summertime. It gets like 113 where I'm at. So that's just a quick tip. So in the wintertime, you shouldn't have to really worry about it melting and solidifying. Add more of your carrier oil. If it's solidifying too hard, then you're not adding enough carrier oil. Try to do 90%. Add the arrowroot to balance out the oiliness and and then let me see what else. If I think about something along the way, I'll chime back in. But let me continue whipping my butter. So our butter is now done mixing. This is the consistency that I like, because it is, as you can see, creamy. But once I put it in the my piping bag, I let it sit. See, that's the trick a lot of people don't mention. If you put it straight directly in the piping bag, most of the time it's too runny to pipe it to give you a pretty firm look. So I put it in a piping bag, I let it sit for a few minutes, 5 to 10 minutes. And so once you get a little bit firm, not hard or too solidified, just a little bit more firm, then I pipe it into my containers. We're gonna start adding our fragrance into our butter. This is about, let me see, I can't see from that angle. Just 41 ounces. So this is 11.5 mLs. I'm gonna start off with that amount just because I don't wanna make the scent too strong, but 15 mLs is about okay. So I'm gonna add that in there and start to fold the fragrance into the butter. Now we're going to add the fragrance to our Luxe Rose Quartz. This is a secret scent, so I cannot tell you or show you what fragrances I'm mixing in. It's a secret. Shh. For the Luxe Rose Quartz, I used about 8.5 ml because this scent was a little more stronger, so I used less of the fragrance. So you can adjust the fragrance according to your likings and according to how potent the scent is. Now we're going to be adding our colorants to our body butters. This is a white shimmer that I'm going to add to the Rose Vanilla Champagne. I do not really measure the amount of colorant pigments that I add. I just kind of do it by eye. Because some people like their colors bright, some people like them dark. So it's just up to you, it's at your discretion. But right now I'm just using a half of teaspoon, but I normally don't measure it. I am so exhausted, you guys. It's like 3 in the morning. So yeah, I put quite a few teaspoons, maybe 3. And be careful because that mica just flies everywhere. I'm just So now I'm going to be adding my pink mica to my Luxe Rose Quartz Body Butter to give it a pink rose color. I'm also going to be adding some gold shimmer mica to top it off and a beautiful heart rose quartz. Now I'm going to go ahead and mix my colorants off camera. Now it's time to get to the fun part. Now that I mix all my colorants, I'm going to take my Luxe Rose Quartz and I'm going to put it on, or I'm going to spread it onto the pressing seal to help me transfer it into my piping bag more easier. I'm not gonna lie, y'all, I hate this part. This is like the worst part of all. I suck at piping. Like, I don't know how many times I can tell you guys this. I'm horrible at piping. Okay, now we're gonna start piping. And that's about it, you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Remember to like and subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell in order to stay notified whenever I post my DIY and tutorial videos. And here's the finished product.